Hello everyone, hi, welcome to the channel of Wall Street Mojo. Watch the video till the end, and also if you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon. Today we have a topic with us is how to get into venture capital company. There's always a question when an MBA student is coming out from his respective colleges. They always have this thing that, how to get into VC, how to be part of it. Okay. Well, I have an answer for this. First, I'll have to do is how to break into VC, how to break into venture capital. Well, venture capital firms, they provide much needed capital to the business based on detailed assessment of the potential as a worthy investment. So usually they provide funding to early stage business or startups. However, they may choose to invest in the late stage startup also, late stage business, depending on the number of the factors. So in the past decade, business dynamics have changed a great deal and market competition has intensified for new businesses. And this is why the VC firms are hogging the limelight as startups are vying with each other to find the long-term investors. See, naturally, this has also spurred a great demand for the skilled and the competent venture capital professionals who enjoy some of the best career prospects in the financial industry. So you will find this helpful guide, how to get into the VC. Well, there are some steps that you should follow to get into the VC. See, contrary to the popular perception, finding an entry to VC as a successful professional in another field can be one of the most difficult points of entry. One of the primary reasons is that you have to be really successful in any another field. And if you are, then it can be a bit risky as well to move into another field, no matter how bright the prospects are. So step number one is excellent communication skills. Well, venture capital firms are not looking for individuals who excel only on financial analysis or really good with numbers. Instead, they would prefer someone who does not merely stand out for his or her skills, but have more of personality. Okay, and with the potential to make an impact on almost anyone. So they should be comfortable working with the top level executives and have an excellent presentation skills. So VC prefers to hire people with good communication skills and ability to source investments on one own and prior deal experiences, which prove to be really very helpful. Second, an MBA is a plus. I'll continue down here. An MBA will be a plus for this particular field. See, it is possible to get into VC without an MBA if you have the relevant experience in business development, product management, and or you can say banking, among the other areas. So, however, earning an MBA degree from a top institute can open up a good opportunity in the field, even if you come from a non-traditional background. So for MBAs, usually they have a benefit of better network, one of the most important thing, which can be a key factor in locating useful opportunities in VC. In general, those coming from the diversity of the background, it tends to adopt the MBA route for the advantage it affords. However, it would almost critical to have a completed MBA degree from one of the top institute, which would add substantial value to the profiles as a prospective VC professional. Third, you should have an entrepreneur experience. Very important. See, individuals who have been successful entrepreneurs in past can also find some of the best opportunities, in the venture capital, since their experiences would come in handy in gaining the trust of the new enterprise or new entrepreneurs and assessing the worth of the startup. Then you need to have an investment banking experience. Now, what do you mean by that? See, it would be very important to point out that an increasing number of the investment banking professionals are looking to get into the VC for the kind of the growth prospect it offers. They have a unique advantage, as well as, because the skilled base criteria in the field are not so much different from that in the venture capital, which typically includes excellent communication skills, relevant deal experiences, and ability to source investments. The three things, very important. Now, fifth, you need to take help from headhunters. Now, what do you mean by this? See, it is true that, that a number of VC firms do not hire headhunters for recruitment, but some of them do, which largely depends on the size of the firm and the focus area. So most VC firms dealing with their early stage business, they do have enough resources to employ headhunters for hiring the process. However, those dealing with the late stage companies or larger firms, they may utilize these services, so one needs to keep in mind what kind of VC they are dealing with before deciding how important a role networking might play in getting into venture capital firm. Sixth step is, you need to do a positioning the right way. Now, what is this? See, depending on the type of the VC firm, the requirement could vary a great deal, and it would be very useful to have an idea of what they might be looking for. So the early stage firms might be more focused on sourcing, market sizing, developing and evaluating the investment ideas. So interview questions for this type of firm could revolve around the industry trends, and business that appear interesting to the candidate. And VC firms working with the portfolio companies could be more interesting in individuals with a good background on the operations, which might include experience related to, again, it's product management, or probably on the marketing end, entering into partnership, and so on and so forth. So those learning more, leaning more on the private equity side would be that much intent on due diligence and deal execution, and might prefer someone who is good with the financial models, analysis of the company's financials, and it's comfortable at coordinating with the lawyers, bankers, accountants. So the requirement closely resemble to those for what you find for investment banking. See, firms more focused on sourcing, could be looking for potential recruits with strong communication and presentation skills, as one might be required to make presentations and do a lot of cold calling, among other things. Seventh step, there is no single strategy that might help to get into this. See, if you're thinking one of the approaches outlined above should work in most of the cases, you might have got it all wrong. Going one step ahead, it would be appropriate to say that no, there is no standard strategy that might help interested individual break into the industry. So it is only a broader approach we have discussed, and a great deal depends on the type of the VC firm one is applying to. So those that fund early stage companies might look for different professional skills and capabilities in potential recruits from the ones who prefer to invest in the late stage companies. So similarly, some of them could have a great focus on the diligence part, sourcing or portfolio companies, which would again require a personnel from certain specialized skill sets. So this is why no matter how much one may try, there can barely be a single standard or a path to carve into VC careers. Okay, now we have discussed the steps. Now what about the resume part? Now how do you build that? See, while it would be very useful to list any deal experiences one possess, but additional details about working with the top level executives would be helpful to get a venture capital job. Any experience in the business development or market sizing might also be relevant. So listing your credentials might sound good, but it would be better to not stuff too much information and instead keep a resume short and simple. However, if you have earned an MBA or some other relevant credentials from the top institute, don't forget to highlight that. Second, in general, VC firms are looking for people with the presentable skills and a keen interest in startup and technology. So if a resume is successful in creating the impression, it might be very helpful. Now, how to tackle this kind of interview? See, usually interviewers at VC firms are far less technical structured, unlike investment banking or private equity. A candidate might not even be asked to take any sort of financial model, nothing doing, or case study or any other technical assessment as in common investment banking or private equity does. But a VC interview might be carried out in more of an informal setting. Okay, it may be even a casual conversation. Okay, that happens over lunch or breakfast. Typically, they are more interested in finding out how much the person is actually interested in the field and if they are passionate enough to excel in the field. See, a lot of VC firms pay lesser than the private equity firms, and though prospects are good, they would not prefer to hire someone whose main motivation is to work in the field and is the kind of the perks it offers. It can be considered more of a turn off, as a person might have little real interest in finding the exciting businesses. So this is why they are more attendant to the idea of a cultural fit as compared to the most of the other fields. However, the firms more or less inclined towards the private equity side might prefer to go along with the technical assessment as well. And if applying for an alternative technology company, one should be prepared for the what we call as the questions related to the technological innovation in this particular field. Fifth, what is the most VC are looking for? See, some of the most important points one must keep in mind is that the VCs are not only the one looking for the good industry knowledge, but also, you can say the well-formed opinions on the industry and the company. So for an investment banking professionals, more of a balanced, neutral, you can say that, more of a balance and a neutral side that should be taken as a view of the industry might work well. And however, on the buy side, when you have to invest business, you need to more of an optional approach to be successful. So aspiring VC professional should be, he should be really very confident about in expressing their opinions about the industry at large, specific companies, along with how they view their prospect based on certain key factors, and focusing solely on the product instead of you can say that market position of the company might also not impress the interviewer as much, since the investment in VCs are primarily market driven business decision. So finally, on the conclusion part, in closing, we might add that venture capital is set to grow at a fast pace in emerging markets in India, Brazil, China, Canada, which might be all more reason why aspiring VC professionals might look forward to exciting opportunities in this market. So that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.